everybody, and welcome back to Tenza Motorsports. Today we are going to be reviewing another borescope camera. Now, I did previously do a review on the Kiewitz borescope camera, and today we'll be doing the Teslong camera, and I've got some comparisons, and this is basically a part 2 of looking at borescopes. You can either watch this video or the other one first, it doesn't really matter which. This just kind of expands on some of the different price ranges of some of the borescopes available online. Before we get into today's video, make sure you are subscribed to the channel, like if you enjoy this type of content. Also, make sure to check us out on Instagram, Tenza_motorsports. All right, and here we have the Teslong. This is model TD450S. Now, this camera right here is a bit chunkier than the Kiewitz. Now, I did open this up previously. I have been using it at work. The reason I do that is because when I do this video here, I want to make sure I know what I'm talking about, and I'm not just like, you know, opening it up for the first time. As fun as it is to do unboxing completely blind, it is always best to have a little bit of information, a little bit of knowledge before you start talking about it. So this system here costs around $150, and as always, we'll have these linked in the description below. About 150 bucks. In the previous video, we did a $50 and $100 and then a $300 Snap-on one, and I've got some, well, unsurprising news. This is way better than the Snap-on one at $300, and I will make sure to show that. I'll show some footage from the other video review that we did, but I will also have a bunch of new stuff and obviously a bunch of new footage with this. This does have some pretty cool features on it, and I feel like overall this one's slightly easier to use than the Kiewitz that we did. Just go over the box here real quick before we open it up. Industrial repair, aircraft inspection, building maintenance, and auto care. Back here, screen size 4.5 inches, image resolution 1920 by 1080, and video resolution 1280 by 720. Rotation angle max up to 210 degrees. Power source is a 3000 milliamp lithium poly battery, and memory storage is an inserted 32 gigabyte card. It's really nice that they have that included. If you don't include a card, you know, it's not a ton of money, but there's another 10 or 12 bucks that you would have had to go and spend on your own. So yeah, let's go get this unboxed. I'll show you some of the features, and then I'm gonna show some of the footage that I've recorded using this already. Been really happy with it, and then I also wanna do the exact same test that we did with the other borescope cameras that we went over, and then that way we can kind of see all of them side by side. And then that way, by the end of this video, we'll have like a comparison between a $50, $100, and $150 and a $300 borescope camera. So pretty excited to get that lineup all done. I've heard a lot of good things about these guys. Not sure where they got their name from, but nevertheless, this is a good product so far. Let's get it unboxed to show you what it comes with, and I'll start showing you what it looks like to use. All right, here it is, the Teslong TD450S. As always, I am a big fan of printed, nice, well-fitting boxes versus just throwing the product in a padded envelope and then just hoping it survives the mail. I like getting stuff like this. So, to open this up, there it is. And inside we get a nice, kind of like a semi-hard shell case. Opening it up, you've got a double zipper design. The zipper feels real nice and sturdy. It doesn't feel like it's gonna get caught up and moves really smoothly, which is a bit of a change for some manufacturers. The inner zipper, same thing. It's a little bit smaller, but it feels nice and smooth. Doesn't feel like it's gonna get hung up. Let's go over some of the paperwork that we get in here. A little Ziploc here, and inside we have a USB-C charging cable. This is some of the accessories. We'll go over these real quick while we've got them in our hand. So this one comes with 2 of them. This one right here is a magnet, so you would put this on the end of your camera here, and then if you need to pick something up, you've got a magnet, and then this one here is a hook. Not as many attachments as some of the other ones I've seen. Sometimes they come with like 3 or 4 attachments, but it's better than nothing at all, I guess. Inside the rest of this, you'll have your user's manual. Just goes over the basics, like how to turn it on, what all the buttons do, things like that. This is an alcohol prep pad, and I can't seem to figure out what this is for other than to just wipe, you know, the screen off. So I guess that's just an added bonus. Safety warning. This is an actual Teslong specific borescope safety warning. Just going through some things here. Don't use this for any medical inspections. That should be a given. Firearm safety, that kind of stuff. So nice to have all of this in the background here. So we're gonna put all this back and then move on to the camera itself. You do have a spot in the case to store your attachments and the USB-C cable here in this little pocket. The system itself here is just like that. To put it away, you'll kind of run the cable around here. And one thing I did notice right off the bat is that the articulation on this is much easier to control, articulating really nice and smooth without me having to force anything. I do notice that this is a slightly larger system than some of the other ones we've been testing, and I'll show that here in a comparison in just a moment. Let's get this turned on and we'll get a quick preview of what this looks like. So here are the controls on it. Power button, an M button, OK, up, down, settings, light, and a zoom button. So we're gonna press and hold the power button. And you can see how fast that booted up. And then we're gonna go here to, there's also a trigger on the back to take pictures, which is kind of cool. But you do hit that on accident, on occasion. The M button here, which changes here between recording and taking a picture. So there is the two photos that I accidentally just took. The settings here, pretty simple settings. Let me see if I can get the camera to look at this a little bit better. Sorry, again, recording a screen is probably not the best way to go about this, but resolution, date stamp, and shutter sound, so I can turn that off if I want to. And then here to the main menu, automatic shutdown, so you can actually have this turn off by itself in like 5 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever. Language setting, temperature unit, time, date, format, default setting, and your version. Back here to the camera itself, this is obviously your brightness on the light itself. So I don't know if you'll be able to see me turning the brightness down. There's it off. And then the other thing you can do is zoom. So we'll zoom. I think you can zoom in pretty far. So there's 1.3 times and there's a 1.5 times zoom, and then back to where it was. The other thing I learned while playing with this is when you press the down button, it'll flip the image. So if you get into something and you're upside down, you can flip the image, make it a little bit easier to use. So pretty simple operation, nothing too crazy. You're not going to break it by playing with the controls and learning it for yourself, but that's kind of the basics here. SD card and the charge port are over here on the side. There's also a reset button. Nope, nothing on the other side. Let's show some testing, the same one that I did on the other ones, and then I also have been using this and I did document a few of those things. And at the end I want to talk about the upsides to owning a borescope camera and what it can do for you. All right, so at this point I'm going to show some testing of some of the things that I've done. In this video here, which is at my work, I was able to use the borescope at work. This actually helped me find some bolts on a transmission that were so dirty I couldn't actually see where the bolt head was. Now, most of what I'm showing here, you could technically use your phone, but oftentimes your phone does get a little bit too big for some of these areas, and I don't know how bad I would like shoving my phone up into these greasy spots that I've been working with. Another spot that I used this on is my own vehicle. I had a starter go bad, and I was worried based on the sounds that I was getting that it was actually the spur gear or the flywheel that the starter motor comes in contact with. So I wanted to check the teeth on that. I don't think I could have gotten a phone up in there. Perfect. Pulled out the borescope. I was able to inspect that spur gear. The other one that we used it for was on that same truck that it was so greasy and gross that I couldn't see the bolt heads. I needed to inspect the harmonic balancer. I wanted to see what kind of mounting it was before I started removing the harmonic balancer, so I was able to get the camera up in there and see that the surface that I was going to be pushing on was proper, because I didn't quite know how that harmonic balancer was shaped. Another perfect example is this Harley-Davidson fuel tank. We had a big dent on this one, and as we were pulling it, we did poke a hole in it. So there was some welding, and we were able to look inside that fuel tank. As you can see here, phone doesn't fit, but the borescope does, and you can see the backside and see what we need to do on the inside to finish that project. The last test I want to talk about real quick is the exact same test that we ran the Snap-on, the Kaiweets, and the Depstech borescope cameras through as well. That test, the last time we did it, was very disappointing for the Snap-on and actually made the Kaiweets and the Depstech look really good. And to blow the Snap-on even further out of the water, this Teslong absolutely ruined that Snap-on. It's not even kind of in the same ballpark. Again, go watch that first video, but I actually had to add light to the Snap-on to get the photos that you're seeing now. And I just was so happy with the way this Teslong functioned. One more thing, this is the specs of the Teslong. You can see the same specs in the same list order, and you can then compare them side by side. I've worked with this system for about a week now, and I am unbelievably happy with it. I do have a couple downsides before we talk about some of the cost savings that goes along with owning one of these. The only real downside that I've experienced, well, there's a couple things, but one of them is really just kind of this style of borescope. The larger cable here is a little bit more chunky. You kind of have to like force it around. And when you're shoving the camera up into things, it feels a little bit counterintuitive to just kind of like shove it in there. But since this is a little bit more beefy than the other ones, that's just kind of how it ends up being. The only real complaint that I have is that this button on the back here that starts the video and takes pictures, that is too easy to click, and it's in a spot that you end up hitting all the time. So I end up, while I'm using this, I'm just like spamming photos, which isn't a huge deal. You just go in and delete them, whatever. But I just noticed that I was hitting that a lot, and it was kind of annoying. I did have to turn the shutter sound off, so it wasn't just like, you know, I'm in the back of the shop just like just taking like a bunch of pictures. I don't know what the best way to go about that would be. I think if they made it so that like you actually like really had to pull to get that to go off, that'd probably be better. The only other option would be to move it somewhere else. But that's my really only big complaint that I like noticed as I was using this. Nothing else really stood out to me. And yeah, overall, I think it is worth it. And coming to talk about prices, right now, well, as I'm recording this video, I don't know about the release date, but right now this is on sale for like just over $100. So when you look at it from that standpoint, this is really the way to go. The Kaiweets one that we did a review on is really good, and that, I think the retail on the Kaiweets is like $110 and sometimes goes on sale for like 80 or 90 bucks. This, I think, retails for like $150 or $160 and oftentimes goes on sale for just over $100. So between this and the Kaiweets, you're gonna see about a $40 or $50 spread. In my opinion, if you're gonna be using this a lot, I think that 50 bucks is worth more. I mean, 33% more is not a small amount of money, but if you're using it a lot, I honestly would go with the Teslong. I have no complaints with the Kaiweets. It's been a really good system, but the price difference is so little for how much more quality imaging you get out of this. The motion blur is less. I know motion blur can be an issue when you're using these because as you go to scope something, if you get a lot of motion blur, you can like lose where you're at and like, wow, that doesn't look very familiar. It's hard to kind of like map out where you're feeding the camera if it's sitting there constantly going all blurry. This does a really good job of not having that issue. And the other thing that I want to talk about is cost savings once you do purchase one of these. 150 bucks is not a small amount of money, but if you had to do one job, one scope job at a mechanic shop, even a shade tree mechanic, like just the scariest looking mechanic shop, they're gonna charge you more than one of these does. So if you have one project, scope one cylinder, it will pay this off. And that doesn't even come close to like doing any like, if you have any like home repairs, like looking through the insulation, just kind of where does this wire go back behind the wall? If you have an electrician come to your house, it can cost $100 to $200 just to have them show up and not do any work at all. Well, that just paid for this. So just an example of like, this seems kind of like, oh man, I don't know if I should spend 150 bucks. If you use it for just a project or two, the savings is insane compared to having an electrician or a plumber or a mechanic look at, just diagnose an issue. So anyways, I've been really happy with this. I'm going to continue to use it. I would like to do a long-term review on all of the scope cameras that I've been reviewing the last little bit. So I really appreciate everybody so much for watching. Comments or questions down in the comment section below, and let me know what you think of all of these. I think it's crazy that Snap-on can't even hold a candle to this. I know the Snap-on's a smaller unit, but you know what? If I have to carry this around and not have to sit there and fight it to get the lighting and stuff like that, it's so worth it. Snap-on, don't like it. Sorry, fight me about it in the comments, and I'll see everybody in the next video.
Tenza. Bam!